Welcome back to Sips with the Suriel.
What's up?
I'm Jenna.
I'm Danielle.
And I'm Dina.
Yay! And we're just like three best friends who like to get together and talk books. We would love for you to follow along with us each week. It's like a book club, so we will tell you the week before what book we're going to be discussing, so you can make sure you read along. So we're not like spoiling your life here if you feel like listening to us. So check us out on Instagram. Our handle is Sips with the Suriel, so Suriel, like from, ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses. In addition to being a book club podcast, we also each have our little artsy, and Dina does beautiful digital art. And
I'm like blown away by your art this
Right?
week, both of you.
Aw,
Like,
thank you.
when I saw Dina's, I was like, oh shit, that's really good. And I saw Jenna's, I was like, oh fuck.
Oh, no.
And I was like, oh, okay, what the hell am I going to do?
So we're trying, as this is like a fun little hobby for us, art is another fun hobby. And actually, I was like, oh man, why don't I do this more often? I was having such a stressful mental health day. And I was like, this is making me feel so much better. And so we are each doing our own interpretation piece of each book that we do every episode. So if you go to our Instagram, you'll be able to check out our work that we're doing per episode, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Dina, do you want to tell everybody what we are discussing today?
Today we're discussing A Court of Mist and Fury. And what are we sipping on?
Danielle, do you want to say what we're sipping on?
I got some basic fairy wine. Favors fairy wine, I need to feel a little good, a little silly.
You give Danielle one glass of wine and she is shiny and happy.
All it takes is one beer, one glass of wine, like a full glass of wine, not a baby glass of wine, like a nice heavy pour. And I'm feeling happy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Dina's
Jenna,
drinking.
what do you have?
Oh, I also have Favors Fairy Wine.
You have some Farrah.
And then Dina has
Very
a
nice.
beautiful, gorgeous, we will
Cocktail.
post it.
Oh my gosh.
It is the Night
Yes.
Court Margarita, and it's a beautiful, blue-green color. I'm really digging it.
I know. I don't even know how you got that beautiful color.
So it's what? Tequila, blue Caracu, what else?
Curacao.
Oh my God,
It
I always
has
say it wrong.
Yeah. And when I went to the store to go buy it, I was telling the girl, and she's like, I'm like, am I saying it wrong? Because you're supposed to be the expert, right? But no, we found it, so we're good to go. It also has a little bit of Grand Marnier, which is kind of similar to it because it has that orange flavor as well. But I didn't want to go so full on the blue because I didn't know for sure. And
Ooh,
then
I want
limes.
that.
And agave, of course, agave. So yeah, it's really good.
Agave.
Oh, shoot. I want that now.
I don't like tequila, but that looks delicious.
I love me
I
some
just
tequila.
like the color. It's so pretty.
Right? It's really pretty. And it matches the book perfectly.
Oh, it really does. Oh my gosh, look at that. It's the
Whoa.
exact same color.
I mean,
crazy.
hats off
Crazy.
to the mixologist.
Yeah, really.
Shout out Bob.
We know him,
We know him. We're kind of important like that.
Love it. Perfect. Okay, so like we said, we are discussing A Court of Mist and Fury, which is, I think, all of our favorites out of the series?
It's my favorite, yeah.
It's my favorite too, yeah.
Oh, good. So it's all of our favorites.
Yeah, everybody I talk to says
It's
their
honestly, out of all the books.
Is it because
in
of
the
the
fantasy?
romance?
Yes, absolutely.
It's 100% because of the romance?
It's 100% because of the romance.
It's a lot of
And the ending,
beautiful.
and the ending is such a cry, a happy cry and a sad cry twist, a roux.
I know.
Man, it's
It really is
and it's
gut-wrenching at the end, but beautiful.
And it's not very smutty. It's just romantic.
And
it's the perfect amount of spice,
as you go
not
through
smut.
the book, spoiler for people who haven't read them all, it gets the spice is different per person. So I would say per couple, and I would say Reese is a very romantic lover.
Very,
tender,
very, very
loving,
giving. Very giving.
Giving.
He's just giving it all.
Give. And if I was favor, I would take.
Oh, shoot. Okay. That being said, have we mentioned how much we love Rysand?
Oh, my God. If I could have my own Rysand.
God, Gosh, where does that exist?
I love those memes where it's like you finish reading and you look up at your husband and you're wondering why he's not a hot bat boy. And you're just like, yeah.
Gosh, right?
He is the ultimate bat boy.
Rysand? Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean, Rysand? Like, yeah, that's a
he's like your favorite out of all three.
I mean, I love everyone, but if I were to marry one of them, it would be him.
Yeah, like the fuck, marry, kill is definitely.
I wouldn't kill any of them, but
yeah.
No,
what is it? What is it? Fuck, marry. There's another version of it. Not fuck, marry, kill. Fuck, marry, avoid.
I don't know that one. I wouldn't avoid anyone either.
It's like a non-violent one.
I'm not avoiding anyone.
Oh.
If I a gun to my head, I would avoid Azriel, fuck Cassian, and marry Rysand. Like gun to your head, you had to make a choice.
To be fair, we don't really have the background of Azriel like we do Cassian and Rysand.
No, but I do love a wounded little
baby bird
warrior. I do like a project.
Jenna wants to build him back up.
I'm like, oh, his scarred little hands. Let me rub them for you. Oh God. Okay, we're getting way off topic here.
And that's not even this book, so that's okay.
No, it's not.
Not even this book. We barely even touched the surface of Azriel.
Which one of us is going into the summary first, ladies? We didn't even discuss this. Who's doing it?
Oh.
Come on, Danielle. Step up to the plate.
Let me read all of this.
Well, no. We'll switcheroo here. I'll jump in.
3 months since Under the Mountain, Feyre waking up with nightmares and vomiting. This really got me too. It was just
like pissed you off, got you, right?
Pissed me off. Tamlin laying there. Like, what do you think? She's vomiting, and he just looks over and he's like,
raising my hand.
Hold on. And he looks over. He's like, not my problem. The maid will clean that up.
Raising my hand. Go ahead. This is, these books, all you hear is like, Faye hearing is amazing.
Yeah.
Faye sense of smell is amazing. She's literally bolting out of bed to go puke in the bathroom. That's sound and smell right there. And he's fucking asleep the whole time? Bullshit.
Yes, he got up earlier than her. And
blonde
he
hair,
wasn't in bed.
bitch. Sorry, I'm so upset about that.
Anyway, they're engaged to be married in 2 weeks, right? And then she's planning her wedding with Ianthe.
Ianthe. What are your thoughts on Ianthe?
Are we gonna shit talk her already?
Yes, we are going to shit talk Ianthe.
In the beginning, did anyone think she was okay in the beginning, or were you always suspicious?
I was always suspicious because I didn't like that she was like controlling what Feyre was doing. Picked out her wedding dress for her, which was apparently ugly as fuck. I mean,
but what I didn't like too is I remember Feyre specifically saying, "You can pick whatever flowers. I don't care. Not red." And what did she put?
Exactly.
Red petals.
Exactly. Like, hello, trauma.
Like,
I don't want to see red because of everything I went through under the mountain.
And think of blood.
So that was a sign right there. Like, fuck this bitch.
Yeah, I was already like suspicious of him from the beginning. I'm like, something's not right. Something's going on. I don't know if it's like her and Tamlin or what, but
it was. She was very controlling and trying to convince her everything was okay, but obviously that was suspicious.
Yeah, and Feyre's like, I have all these like powers now from these 7 high lords. Hey, Tamlin, you want to help me like figure this out? And he's like, nope, you're not going to do anything with these powers. We're going to ignore that they exist.
You don't have them, and you will never be High Lady even after we get married.
And they even say like, if you don't use your powers, they can like mess with your head.
They'll destroy you. Yeah, they'll destroy your inside.
Yeah,
inside.
That's crazy too.
That's kind of like what was happening to her,
Right. So he knew that. You think?
True.
I don't think he knew it. I think he was just like not paying attention to her. He was just doing what he wanted, which was to keep his prize.
Right.
Because
like my problem is like later on we see him so distraught by everything. Do you think he's distraught because he lost, or do you think he's distraught because he actually did love her and he's sad that he didn't treat her well? Do you think he's remorseful? We're skipping this summary. I'm sorry.
No, but it's a good question because here's my thoughts on this. I think there's men who truly love people but aren't emotionally intelligent enough to know how to like
treat a woman,
not even treat, but like have like the forethought to like put someone before themselves and like be like, oh, maybe I should like pay attention to what's going on in this person's life. Like they care too much about like how that person makes them feel
versus
than how that person is feeling. They're all about like how their needs are being met.
Right.
And that, I think that was
because
him.
he was also struggling as well because he was having nightmares on his own and going through his own thing because he'd wake up as a beast and like, kind of crazy.
I forgot about that.
I read a quote earlier this week and it made me think of this book. It had nothing to do with it. Surprisingly, something that's going through my feed is not Akatar or anything like that. It said, when someone helps you and they're struggling too, that's not help, that's love.
Oh.
And that like completely reminded me of that situation. Like
that reminds me of a quote that I just saw today and coincidentally sent it to my husband. And I just saw it today. And it was, a man being gentle with you is the most masculine thing he can do. Which I was like, oh my gosh.
So that's resand. Right there.
Yeah.
So, but that still doesn't answer. Do you think he was actually remorseful and upset that he did not treat her
I don't
well,
think he was remorseful because I think that would require him to have like understanding of what he did wrong. Because again, I don't think he has that foresight into what went wrong. I think
he's
he
just upset that he lost everything.
I think he just missed her, his court crumbles, everything. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. So, okay.
I agree.
Like, it's his pride. Like when she winnows away, well, no, not even winnows away. Who takes her out from the wedding? Reese himself doesn't because
Reese goes there.
Reese. But he couldn't touch her.
So that was just the first visit.
That was the first visit, not the wedding. At the wedding, he said, I'm claiming my week.
Well, yeah, because he hears her internally saying, oh my God, someone save me. I can't do this. Right. She's having someone
takes her during that freak out in the room when she's locked in the room.
For the wedding, she's basically having a really bad panic attack and is freaking out. And he hears it through what we know is the bond, but we think it, at the time, we think is just like the bargain tattoo.
Right. The bargain, yeah.
And so he, makes this grand entrance, plays it off as he's being a douchebag, but really he's just in love with her and wants to save her.
I wasn't thinking he was a douche at all. Like the whole book,
no,
from
the
start
whole book.
to finish, I'm like, you're not a douche.
I was like, he can hear her, and he's playing it up, and he's going to save her.
And the first thing, one of the first things he says to her is how skinny she is, and how he didn't hear you throwing up your guts every night, like. You're right. Knew.
You're right.
One of the first things. Yeah. He was so concerned with
at
her
the wedding,
well-being
in front of everybody. Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
So he winners her out. He still is doing the bargain of like a week, a month. So she eventually goes back. Tamlin's being a douche canoe still, and like won't let her out of the manor or the mansion, whatever the hell it is.
His excuse for that was like. He was protecting her from all the dangers still lurking out there, King of Highland and all that shit. Yeah. Which wasn't totally off base, but obviously he was doing it in the wrong way.
But if he can go out, then she can go out. Like,
well, he's a toxic man.
Just be with her.
Well, after everything that she went through under the mountain, like, if anything, he should know that she can handle it. Plus, she has powers now. Like, she has 7 different powers.
And if you teach her the powers, maybe she'd be able to do it.
Right, like, I mean, now that she knows all her powers, she could kick Tamlin's fucking ass.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She's more than him.
She is totes more than him.
Yeah. Okay, so they do the things back and forth.
Let's go back to what I didn't read any of all this other stuff.
No,
that's okay. I mean, we were talking about it. We got through.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No. Right. They go back and forth. Rhysand teaching her to read by making her copy. Rhysand is the best High Lord. Rhysand is the most handsome.
That was hilarious.
Lord. Cracked me up. What a great way to learn how to read.
Right?
What's interesting too is like Tamlin had a piece in that in the beginning, like the first book, right? But instead of teaching her how to read, he's like, I'll write it for you. And then like this guy's actually teaching her how to read. Like, I don't know.
Like, actually,
that just alone shows the difference.
Giving women like the opportunity to be strong and equal to men.
Because she's smart.
Because he has Boar and he has Amryn, who are is Amryn technically a woman at that point, like when she's in a beast, like or whatever thing, but we're gonna call her a woman. But anyway,
but Moore is like his second
bestie friend.
Cassian's his general, but Moore is his second, isn't she?
Yeah, for sure.
Amryn's his second.
Oh,
Moore's his third.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, because Feyre's smart. She just had like a shitty upbringing where no one bothered to teach her. Like her two other sisters learned, but she was the youngest,
Yeah,
and
then
no
they
one
even go back and say,
like you just
we
like
thought you knew.
You just hunt and get us food and you know make money for us. We don't actually need you to learn how to read.
Those two wastes of life just hanging out in the cottage.
God, those sisters! I'll tell you.
Did you bring back the food yet? Oh, I have to cook it.
Right. Okay. So, all right. Blah, blah, blah.
So what did you think when we met all of his friends and everybody?
Yes.
Like all living in the house together in the townhouse?
So first, like, she doesn't, like, meet them at first. He kind of, like, just shows her, like, not all of Valaris. He just shows her, like, night court until, like, I feel like he can trust her to not, like, report everything back to Tamlin because he was still keeping Valaris a secret.
Yeah, you have to.
When we first met Mor and Amren and Azriel and Cassian, I love how SJM describes Azriel as like aesthetically the most beautiful of all the men, but like in a classic way. And then Cassian's personality just cracks me up and he makes him so attractive.
So do you think Azriel, like faced side by side, Azriel is hotter than Cassian?
I mean, I think they're just like an apple and an orange. They're both probably super attractive. Just like one's more rugged,
beautiful
and
in their own way.
Yeah, one's like a pretty model, and one's like a rugged man's man.
Okay,
like you're not going to say no to either.
No,
never. Who would kick those guys out of bed?
Definitely not after Silver Flames.
No. Like oh no, they're my mate. Oh well.
Oh shucks.
I really wanted the other one. Right. Please, any day, any of those options would be the lottery, right? Like, come on. Oh my gosh. Okay. We didn't talk about Feyre freaking out and it like her finally like that's it. I'm not going back to the spring court freak out and that like crazy like fire bubble she made.
Yeah.
And
so
like her engagement ring gets melted. Yeah. So engagement ring melts off.
Who lifts her out of there? Because
more.
So it was more because they said they couldn't touch her. Like,
well, Rasan said it would have been an act of like war if he did it.
Right.
But
he's so smart.
He's very intelligent. Very intelligent. What did we think of Amren? What's first thoughts on Amren? Because she is an interesting character.
Scary little nut at first.
I was
so
like,
because I had read Throne of Glass before, and I'm like, oh my god, she's this, she's that, she's the like. I was already thinking like, okay, she's connecting characters, and I had like.
What do you think she is? Because she did write Throne of Glass first. So what did you think she was based on that? We can tell Danielle to earmuffs.
I'm only on the first bullet. No, I'm on like chapter 5 of Crown.
Well,
Crown of Midnight.
I guess it doesn't really spoil anything. I thought she was Valg. Have you gotten to the Valg in the Throne of Glass series?
No.
No? Okay. That's kind of what I was thinking. Just because I had just come off of that. Okay. But like the more I read, I'm like, oh no. That's not what she is.
Okay.
But,
I think if you're
there's
Valg,
a lot of theories out there.
I think if you're Valg, you're like pure demon. There's nothing redeeming of you. But from reading Crescent City, and this won't
understand Amren more.
Well, kind of, but not really. Like this won't spoil anything. But I either thought she was an archangel because they exist.
Told us that theory.
And archangels,
our fans, your archangel theory.
Oh, what did I say? Archangels are kind of like both like revered and people are like really terrified of them because they have like there's angels, regular angels in Crescent City, but there's also archangels and they have like an exorbitant amount of power. I think she's either that or she's a firebird, which is also extremely rare. And they even make it a point of saying that they like try to distinguish, like kill them all the firebirds off because everybody was scared of their power. But then she says she comes from a different world. Like she went through the rip. So, but then again, maybe firebirds and archangels originally came from a rip and then just ended up in Crescent City.
They won't tell us exactly. Like even in
SJM
Wings and Ruin,
loves her
spoiler
secrets.
for other people who haven't read Wings and Ruin, like they don't mention. They just said her beast form or her true form.
Yeah, they don't. She doesn't even describe it.
No.
Okay, I saw another theory from Throne of Glass that she is one of the goddesses that is not really spoken of.
Shit.
During the later on. So they kind of go into the goddesses later on in the series. Okay. And one of them that they talk about, they like kind of put her in the background. And then that girl went through like what that goddess's powers are. And it sounds very convincing that it could be Amren.
Interesting.
I need to find that theory again. But
shit. I was like, that's a good one. But Amren drinks only blood. She doesn't eat food.
Yeah.
Do goddesses require only blood?
But is that a characteristic of her, or is that just because of the like person that she's on a high fae, right? But
I don't know. Because you would think like vampire, they exist in Crescent City,
right?
But then
vampires are in Crescent City.
Yeah, Crescent City is a weird, wacky world, guys. Buckle up for that one. My brain is still trying to process Crescent City, but like. Vampires don't have like her crazy other powers that we see in Wings and Ruin. So who the heck knows what she is?
So now we're getting onto so many books. So in this moment in Mist and Fury, we don't know all these details of Amber. We just know her bitchy personality, and we don't even know like her she's love of stuff yet.
She's very, very sassy. She loves jewels and finery.
I don't think we know that yet too much because
I think just real quick, like
a little bit.
I think Rasan, like,
Feyre asked him.
Yeah, I think, like, Rasan...
Like, why do you buy the jewels?
Yeah, I think Feyre's, like, first meeting with Amren is Rasan giving her, like, a piece of... a brooch with, like, a big-ass jewel on it or something.
So funny how she's such a gaudy bitch.
I know.
A gaudy bitch.
I love her, though.
I know.
I have mixed emotions about her.
Well, okay, yes.
Especially in Wings and Ruin, I was like, "What's this bitch up to?"
I know, super obsessed of her.
That's going to be a conversation.
Yeah, that's going to be a big conversation. I was like, "What the hell?" All right. So anyway,
back to this.
So in this book, we learn a lot more about the King of Hybern, who is bad news bears.
Super bad news.
He wants to launch a war. He wants to resurrect Jurian, which remember his eyeball and soul was in Amarantha's ring.
Crazy.
His little like twitching eye.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
So crazy.
Could you imagine your soul stuck in someone's ring and like they're just like going about their business and you're stuck on their finger?
You know what was like crazy was that like when they saw, was it at the end of this book? When they saw him. Yeah. And they were like, "Oh, I thought you were dead." And then he was like, "I came back alive." Whatever he said something crazy. I was just like,
"Did you put my slippers on?"
I did put your slippers on.
Why would you do that?
I saw them over there and they looked cozy.
They're cozy.
And Emmy told me I shouldn't be walking around barefoot anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Because of our feet.
Oh my God. Oh. Okay. Anyway. All right. Anyway. So Rhys says he doesn't know why Hybern wants to resurrect Jurian. Amren tells them that they need to go see the Bone Carver. So we're first introduced to the Bone Carver. We know he's in, quote, the prison, which is like in that sacred mountain, that mystical mountain. So the Bone Carver, Feyre and Rhys just go the first time, right?
Yeah.
The Bone Carver tells them about the cauldron, which all of the life came from, and it can like reforge something that's dead. And the king now has the cauldron, that's not good. And the cauldron has the power, once they learn how to do it, can shatter the wall that's separating Prythian from the human world, because the king wants to kill the humans, right?
I'm pretty sure he wants to either turn them like Fae because of what we knew, and then like create an army or something. I don't know what he was intending, but it was nothing good for humans.
Yeah, it was not good. So what did we think of the Bone Carver first when he presented himself to Feyre as the young boy? Did you know right away that it was going to be her child that he was like presenting himself as?
No
her future child?
No.
No. Oh, really?
No, I completely caught me up.
You knew that? Lies. Absolutely not.
I have a pretty analytical brain, and I kind of thought it was like a premonition. Yeah.
Maybe the second time, but not the first.
She describes it as like having dark hair and fucking violet eyes.
Because no one else in the world could have dark hair and violet eyes.
Well, I was thinking she was seeing Rhysand as a little boy. And so I was like, oh, okay.
Okay. All right.
But,
all right.
I mean.
No.
So from there, we learn that the Book of breathings? Is that what it's called? The breathings?
Yes.
What a weird
right?
name.
I don't remember it being called that.
Me either. Contains a spell that can negate the cauldron's power, and the book like was split in two, so they want to find like the other half, right? There's like we learned there's like 6 mortal queens, and like and the other half is like hidden somewhere in the summer court, correct? Okay. Yeah. So Reese thinks Feyre can detect the book because the book was made and she's made from the 7.
It's almost like made Faye or like have this special secret power. Right? No? Like
no, that's true because
like, look
we won't fast forward. Yeah. Okay, real quick. So like when he tests the theory that like she can detect things and like he sends her to the Weaver's cabin and like he's like waits outside.
Do you like the Weaver?
The Weaver sounds terrifying.
So scary.
She's great in Wings and Ruin, but terrifying in this book. I'm like, she sounds like
I thought she was gonna die. I was like, why is he sending her in there? What's happening?
She sounded like the witch from Hansel and Gretel, honestly.
Oh yes, that's a great
because she can smell you. Like she can't see you, but she can smell you. Like that's fucking terrifying. And she like eats your youth, right? Like she's old and haggard, and once she like kills you, she like eats your youth. That's
from
Hocus Pocus.
Thank you, Hocus Pocus.
Yeah. I smell children. Okay, so after the theory is tested and everything,
they go over the wall.
What? Oh, yeah, they do go over the wall.
Yeah.
We got, like, the Bat Boys in tow. We got Reese, Cassie, and Azriel, and Feyre. They're
Nessa's like, look at these fucking Fae coming in my house.
Yeah, Nessa's pissed.
She goes, you ain't sleeping in here.
Elaine's like, don't upset my fiance. Like,
my fiance hates you people.
I'm going to go bake and tend to the garden. Bye.
She was such, like, a frail flower.
Oh, flower.
Well, I said that on purpose, but yes. Like, honestly.
We see what you did there.
She was so, I don't want to say pointless, but.
I kind of didn't like her because she was.
Blah.
She's blah. And, like, I don't know. I guess I just respect more of, like, a strong female character. Like,
I mean, there
get shit done.
You can't just, like, hate on non-strong characters, but.
You're right. Everybody has a place in the world.
Like, had no love for her sisters in the sense that she wasn't willing to help.
No.
She was kind of like...
She was a head in the sand kind of person.
She wanted to be taken care of. Yes. And that's why she was all about the fiance. He's going to take care of me, blah, blah, blah.
Did she love him? Or
Which was
did she
really
like
annoying.
fake loved him?
I think she liked security.
Yeah. But I think she was more sad about that.
Yeah.
Well, you know what we never talked about in the first book? We didn't talk about Claire.
Oh, Claire Better. Yeah. Rest in peace, Claire.
We're going to talk about her, though. We're going to talk about her when Reese Ann gets into like the whole backstory.
Yeah. We'll come. We'll circle back.
We got to honor Claire.
Yeah. Honor Claire and her sacrifice.
Like she's a real person.
So right off the bat, there's like a lot of Nesta and Cassian like
sass.
Oh,
sass,
tension.
heat.
Tension.
There's some heat there. There's some tension.
Yeah.
Like I think Feyre even says at one point, I've never seen Nesta react to someone like that before.
So she's obviously attracted to him because, number one, how can you not be attracted to him? But she didn't want to be attracted to him because she hates Faye so much.
Yeah.
So she's like internal struggle.
But yeah, like there's no basis for them hating Faye. Like they were just like taught that like there's a wall.
They were dangerous. Maybe they were just taught that they were dangerous and like these are magic. Like I mean, if you thought they were magical creatures, like over that way, and they could harm you, wouldn't you be like, not going over there?
Yeah. Even Reese was like, dude, your sister. And Feyre was like, yeah, I know, she's a bitch. So
sorry, not sorry.
I love that.
So shortly after that, Reese is like, all right, Feyre, let's start like getting into all of your like powers here. And he starts training her. She starts like making like water butterflies, right? Like doesn't she start making water butterflies in the bathtub?
She makes a butterfly to impress him.
Yeah. She starts like, what else does she start to do? She's like, I think conjuring like flames and things like that, right?
Yeah. I specifically remember the water butterfly, and she did something else because he told her, "I need you to impress me," and then he was going to give her information on, like, I guess his background or something.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so good, so good.
So
good.
in a way, he was like, practice, and then he was forcing her to practice and hone her skills.
Yeah, like when she got mad, things would like freeze and unintentionally.
Like, yeah. So just like, I mean, I can't say that. It's the next book. Anyway.
Okay, so
it's hard not to talk about other books.
I know, because they kind of just like all bleed into each other. So good.
Yeah.
But that's how, guys, if you didn't read the next book, that you should, because it's just a wonderful series.
Yeah. Right.
Everything is connected.
Greatness continues.
Mm-hmm. So Rhys, Amren, Feyre head to the summer court and they meet Cressida, Varian, and Tarquin. So right away, like Tarquin's like hitting on Feyre, Varian's hitting on Amren, and Feyre thinks Rhys and Cressida are hitting it off, and there's like a little bit of jealousy going on there. I felt bad because like Rhys has always had to put on this like persona as like the dick to all the High Lords, because he was like always hiding and protecting Valaris and like the people there. So like Tarquin's like, oh, I like you. You're not acting like you usually. Right. And like Rhys is like, oh, maybe I'll have a friend. But then they have to go and do something sneaky and find the half of this book of the breathings, whatever the hell it is. I know. And then they have to betray Tarquin to steal it.
That was so fun to see him like being himself.
I know.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh. And then everybody notices. They're like, dude, what's up?
They're like, oh, you're actually fun to be around.
Right. How long was
I am really sad that they had to like not form a friendship.
I know.
Because of that. You know?
How long was he in power before Amarantha took over?
I think he's like 500 years old.
I know,
so
but
centuries.
But also like
Rhysand?
His dad, and like he wasn't always like the king of the.
I would imagine at least 300 years that he's like the High Lord, right?
No, not necessarily.
They never explicitly said, but they said centuries.
Isn't he one of the older ones? Like he had been in control longer, or?
Well, no, I think.
Oh no, Baron, right?
Baron, because they even say like for a Fae, he shows signs of like aging. Like he looks a little bit older than because Baron because like he's probably like 1,000 years old versus 500. he's like
really getting up there.
He's like our 50 or 60. Okay, so they betray Tarquin. Tarquin sends 3 blood rubies, which that is dramatic as hell, and I respect it. Like, damn.
Oh, I know.
Like, fuck you.
Like, fuck you. Here's 3 blood rubies. That means there is a mark on your back. I want
like the
you dead.
Black spot.
Yes.
Right.
Kind of respect it.
It is pretty badass.
It's badass.
He was that
so dramatic. I love it. I really love it.
Yeah. And then you get a ruby.
I mean, Amren liked it. She made it into jewelry.
I know, right?
I think she started wearing it around her neck. Like, thank you.
She would. Of course she would.
Okay, so
she seems like she would eat men alive.
For sure.
Dina, do you want to talk about the 5 queens? Because they throw me for a loop. I'm going to be honest with you.
Okay, so they finally get word that the queens are coming back, and only 5 of them show up. They were saying that the 6th queen was sick,
quote unquote.
So right off the bat, I was already like, okay, something's not right. Something's up. Basically, they already know that the war is coming, and they really have no interest in defending our human lands. So Nesta, they all get upset about this, and they're trying to like, even more is trying to be like, no, we really need this. Like, this is not right. And they want proof that Riz is actually the High Lord of Peace and not this monster that they've heard about. And basically, he realizes that the only way he can do this is by showing them Valaris. Right then and there, I was like, oh no, this is horrible idea.
I was like,
horrible.
All right, like, don't do it.
I felt like there's no other way, but
that is really cool. Like that little orb that like shows you. It's like FaceTime, but like in Fae world.
FaceTime in like a snow globe.
In a snow globe. That's perfect. I love that. I love that.
Yes,
That's so
and then that
true.
way he doesn't have to actually physically take them there, right? It's a way to show them, and so then now they need to go get this orb. I'm like, oh my god, they have to go back to what is it, the Court of Nightmares, to go get it.
What a scene. What a scene.
I know.
Okay. We also learn about Miriam and Draken. So basically, what was it? Jurian was in love with Miriam. I forget.
Jurian was in love
with Miriam, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was like pretending to love Amarantha's sister, Cynthia?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
So like Miriam and Draken kind of like fake their own death and like go escape to a land that's like warded that no one can find, which that sounds amazing. Can I do that in real life, please?
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, give me a beautiful island. Let me like hop over and like, sorry, you can't get to me. Yeah. No cell phone reception here. Oh, perfect. Oh. Then skip to, we learn about Moore and Eris's past. Poor Moore and like rejected by her family, like stabbed with the fucking thing. Like, oh my God. So
left for dead
by her father. Eris won't touch her. Why do we think he says specifically, don't touch her? And like he explains later, like that she's like hiding more than she's letting on, and there's reasons why he couldn't, but he can't say. What do we think that is all about?
I still don't know.
I know. I'm so interested in this backstory, and I'm almost hoping that Eris is a good guy in this. Like I want to.
I honestly was hoping he was too.
Agree.
After everything.
And I think maybe that's the way it's heading, but I don't know what the spin on it is that he could be a good guy. Because it sounds horrible.
She is dropping things and then leaving it for a while, and then she's going to pick it back up.
Well, because Eris doesn't like his dad Baron being in charge.
No, he does not.
That's
and
true.
he makes that like secretly known to Rhys. He's like, I would like to help you, but he obviously he does it in a very dickish way. I would like to help you, but I want this, and that. And he kind of acts like an arrogant asshole, but he's doing things behind his dad's back the whole time.
100%. He hates his dad.
He hates his dad.
Yeah.
I'd hate his dad too.
Right? So, yeah, I feel like we need another book, SJM. Like, what's the holdup, lady?
How many more do you think she's going to
We need the background.
I don't know. She said she was going to do another one, and then she was going to do one that connects all the worlds together.
Oh, shit.
Ooh.
Which is like my brain. I don't know if I can handle that. Like,
How
that's a
long
lot
is
of
that
worlds.
That book's going to be like 1,000 pages.
I'm going to have to read that really slow.
Right? Like,
Yeah, that's going to be a lot.
Because as you get through, not to go off topic, Danielle, but as you get through Throne of Glass series, she progressively just amps up those book pages 200.
I know.
She starts out
Does she know what how many pages the last book is?
I saw yours. I can't remember how many pages was it. It was like 800.
It was like
It's almost 1,000.
Yeah.
I think it's like 980. Like it's ridiculous.
That's insane.
But
you will cry the entire time.
that
The
is
last
my
book is The Crier.
that is my second favorite book in the series. First is Queen of Shadows. Kingdom of Ash is my second favorite in the Throne of Glass series.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Don't tell me things.
Okay.
And this is the wrong.
And this is the wrong episode for it. I'm so sorry.
All right.
Tangents.
Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, let's do Court of Nightmares. Okay. I'm so excited. Court of Nightmares, so hot. Feyre is wearing a freaking revealing ass hot outfit. Everybody has to wear Moore's wearing a scandalous dress. Reese is looking like a bombshell.
It doesn't sound like Court of Nightmares.
Right.
Court of Dreams.
I know. They have to put on like a whole like badass, mean, ruthless persona in this Court of Nightmares. Keir, who is Morgan's mom, Morgan's dad. He's the ultimate asshole. He's like running, quote unquote, the Court of Nightmares for Rhys, even though Rhys is like the lord of it. Keir doesn't know about Valaris, so he thinks that Reese just like lives up on the hill, twiddling his thumbs. So, oh my God, he like has like Feyre sit on his lap, the whole thing.
I love that.
Oh my God, so hot. And then he says like shitty stuff to Feyre. So like Reese breaks his arm. Fantastic. Breaks his arm.
Yeah.
5 stars. 5 stars. So good. So good.
Great chapter.
Great chapter. All right, Dina, would you like to speak about Starfall? Because I know you love it so much.
Yes.
Jenna, like,
oh my God.
Look at her. She brought her book out. Good job.
I did. I have it highlighted. Like,
Yay,
I'm ready to go
Dina,
here.
go.
And, okay, that's
Jenna
one
kept
thing I did want to discuss.
when I was reading this. She goes, "Did you get to Starfall? Did you get to Starfall?" I was like, "What is she talking about?"
You're like, what is that? This is the first book that I started like flagging pages on because there was like words and then like just scenes that were so beautiful. So I didn't even have to like go and Google where these things were. I already had them flagged off, and I was ready. Like I was ready for this
Let
episode.
me hear it.
You were ready for this podcast before it even was a thing.
It was exactly.
All right,
So
go for it, lady.
Starfall, I'm going to describe it for you. They say the stars cascade over us, filling the world with white and blue light. They're like living fireworks. My breath lodged in my throat as the stars kept on falling and falling. First of all, how beautiful. Can you just imagine them being on this balcony together, seeing the stars, and then they start like it's,
literally falling.
all these shooting stars, right? And so Feyre asks him, like, what is this? And he says, our ancestors thought they were, but they're just spirits on a yearly migration somewhere. They picked this day to appear and no one knows why. And I kind of hope that we get more information about this. Like, I'd like a little bit of explanation. Like, it doesn't have to be direct, but maybe like in another book somewhere we get a little bit of an explanation because it just sounds so like magical.
Right.
And then the best part is, she's like, what is happening to them? Because he said that they're like coming back less and less of them each year.
Oh,
and he says,
why
does anything cling to something? Maybe they love just wherever they're going so much that it's worth it. Maybe they'll keep coming back until there's only one star left. Maybe that one star will make a trip forever out of hope of that someday, if it keeps coming back often enough, another star will find it again. Like,
that gave me chills.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Right? How beautiful is that? And I kind of feel like it's a parallel to maybe their relationship because he waited so long for her. And he kept coming back. And
he was telling her without telling her.
Right?
He was waiting for her.
I'm just like, beautiful, beautiful scene and
like
chapter.
All of his actions since we met, all of his interactions with her have been like little snippets of him saying we're mates and how much he loves her.
And I think this was the scene where she truly starts like smiling and like feels more peace. Like she had been going through so much trauma. And I think she finally started feeling like at peace and herself again. And he picked up on that. He's like, oh my gosh, do that again. She's like, what are you talking about? He's like, you smiled, you like look happy. And then like she's noticing his own happiness on his face because like he wants her to be happy. It's like, it's just a beautiful scene where they're both like just like happy to be together. And I think they like,
and that's what he wanted. That's why he kept everything a secret, because he wanted her to genuinely feel and love her without this was forced upon you.
Yeah, like learn to love someone before you're like, hey, guess what? We're like fated mates and like we're supposed to be together. Like, no, fall in love with me first. See if you choose this first. Because you can always reject the bond.
Right. And he totally would have respected it if she didn't ever feel like that, which is also another reason why he's a beautiful man.
He's like the ultimate man.
But I'm so happy she did fall in love with him. I mean, how could you not fall in love with him?
And I think this is the part where she starts to fall in love with him as well.
100%.
Totally.
She's finally seeing that she's worthy of love and that someone does love her. Tam's out.
Tam. Yeah. And then like after this scene, we learn more about Tamlin and Rhys's background. What Tamlin's father and his brothers did to Rhysand's mother and sister, how they killed them. They kept their wings as trophies on the wall. And like Tamlin and Rhys were kind of like, not like besties, but they were like friends. They knew of each other. And then all this happened and they were just enemies, you know? So
nothing of that was like led on in the first book. Like you're like, oh, well, he's just a dick. And like, you don't understand why they hate each other.
Yes.
And you're just like, oh, you should really have fucked up Tam way earlier. Like, so, you hold a lot of restraint.
Yeah. And then there's like, Rhys went with his father for revenge, and his father kills Tamlin's mother and father.
Yeah, it's a lot of murder.
And then Rhys's father went to kill Tamlin, but Tamlin killed Rhys's father instead. Like, so crazy. There are some like really, I don't think, this might be a theory that I actually don't believe at all, but there is a theory that Rhys's sister isn't dead and that Tamlin actually has like put a glamour on her and she's like somewhere else.
I don't know.
I don't really.
Could that be Tamlin's redemption story? Maybe. I might like him again if he had done that. Like,
maybe.
Just saying.
That's a good point. If he's going, if SJM,
but why hasn't he told?
Because he hates Rhys still.
And then what? He took away Farah. Like,
why? Yeah. Why? I feel like
he'll always keep her a secret.
Tamlin's the kind of person that Rhys would need to do something to prove to Tamlin that he deserves to get his sister back.
He went over there and didn't rip his throat. I mean, this is getting ahead.
That's Wings and Ruin. Don't get into that.
Staying on track here.
Okay. Yeah. So then we got Lucien, right? Which we like Lucien. But Lucien,
this is our first mention of him.
We like Lucien.
Book. And
Lucien just needs to stop being Tamlin's little bitch. Like what? He's like his little bitch. You know, he's saying that like they have been hunting for 2 months. He's here to bring her back for Tamlin. Like they find Feyre in the woods, and that's when Feyre first realizes that she can shapeshift, and she badass creates herself some bat wings, like Rhysand and Cassian
so
and Azriel.
Cool too, like
right.
You don't have to deal with them every day.
So cool,
which could probably be a little bit annoying.
You could tuck those wings away and just save them for later.
I'm bringing them out whenever you want.
Who wants to sleep with giant wings?
I don't. You can't sleep on your back.
Oh, that's true. How do they? I guess they have to sleep on their stomachs. Well, like, how do they do that?
Like when they talk about their sex scenes, it does seem like the wings curl around them.
Oh, that's true.
Because they're always and his wing curled around me, and I was so warm.
Okay, good point.
Oh, so funny.
They're their own blanket. Got it.
I mean,
So she learns how to get Illyrian wings, and she learns how to winnow, which is awesome.
Yeah, I want to winnow.
And she's like, Lucien, get away from me. I'm not going back to Tam Tam.
No.
And you can tell him I'm not doing that. You know.
Like, and Lucien should, I mean, I know he's being loyal to his bestie, but you should not want that for her.
I think he thinks that she's like mind controlled by Rhys, like that's,
because he still thinks Rhys is a dick.
Yeah. Because Rhys had to put up that persona to protect Valaris for so long. So
he's like, "Oh, don't be with that dick. Be with my best friend, who's a
exactly."
Dick.
You know, at this point too, I had written down the quote. She said, she tells Lucien, "When you spend so long trapped in darkness, you find that darkness begins to stare back at you." So. Did this not remind you of the Frederick Nietzsche quote about when you gaze into the abyss? That, like, I was like, did she mean to do that? Like, was that?
I wouldn't be surprised if she did, because she's so good at tying in things from literature that I wouldn't be surprised if she used that. And I saw that you made note of that, and I was like, that's so beautiful, and that's probably exactly what it was.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm like, that's really cool. Like, I don't know. I saw that, like, when I read it, I was like, oh my gosh, this reminds me so much of that quote. Like, I need to highlight it because I need to go back to this later. Absolutely. And then I reread the quote and I'm like, oh yeah, I think she had to borrowed it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I forget why they're going to this like small, tiny inn. Why are they traveling to the inn? They're going to the Highburn. What are they doing?
So it was after the whole Lucien encounter. I think he was hurt or he had used too much magic and they couldn't winnow back.
They were like in the middle. What's it called? Like the middle grounds. There's like the middle. Oh, yeah. I think maybe they just call it the middle.
Maybe they did.
We're
kind of like weird beasts and like creature. We're like weird fae or like kind of banished. So they stay in this like this inn, and that's when things start getting some spiciness starts happening between Feyre and Rhysand. And I was like, hell yeah, let's go. Like I was all into this. Again, Rhysand with the giving. He's just a giver, man.
Oh, yeah.
He's just a giver.
Yeah.
And he does. He tucks that wing right around her afterwards. He's like, just sleep, baby. You don't need to return the favor. Just
tiny
sleep.
Little room, tiny little bed. We got you.
Right?
Yeah.
He was like, I don't need anything in return. You just go to sleep, honey. I was like, that man.
He's a keeper. Feyre.
Lock it down, girl. What are you doing?
She wasn't there yet. She wasn't ready.
Ugh, whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
She was a runaway bride.
So the next day they're like flirting, they're this, they're that, they're flying. She's learning how to fly. He's like helping her. He's like carrying her around. And then boom, ash arrows out of nowhere. And he's like riddled with these ash arrows. I remember reading this and being like
terrified.
Yeah, I was like, if this dude dies, that's it.
She made me nervous.
I was like, this is going in the trash. I'm never looking at these books again. I don't want anything to do with these. If this dude dies, I'm out. And then, so what does our girl Feyre do? She's like, oh my God, he's captured by Hybern soldiers. I need to go save him. I don't know. The iron that he's wrapped in is causing him not to heal. He's like chained up and getting choked and he's bleeding out because the ash arrows are like poison and all this stuff.
That's what she killed
with
him.
bloodbane.
With bloodbane. Oh, the bloodbane. And she's like, gotta find my bestie, the Suriel. She's like, the Suriel knows everything. Gonna go find that Suriel. So she goes, catches the freaking Suriel.
I love that she can do it so easily.
And the Suriel is like,
I know.
The Suriel is like, okay, did you stay with the High Lord? Girl, you stayed with the wrong High Lord.
I said stay with the High Lord.
I said stay with the hottest one who has the most power. You did it wrong. Also, that weed over there, that weird weed that grows by the river, that'll cure him faster. Make him eat it. Like, I love how she throws that in real quick. She goes, okay,
I get that thing.
She was like, oh, you want to save your mate? Cool. Here's how you do it. And she's like, time out.
Back up.
Excuse me, my mate. Oh, you didn't know that? So sorry. Like, what a great way to spill the tea.
And honestly, her reaction, not cool. Like, bitch.
I know.
You could be mated with something
Why
much
would you be
worse.
upset about that? Like,
He's my
I know.
mate.
Her reaction was totally ridiculous. I'm very mad at her for
so
this.
angry.
He kept it from me? Well, yeah, honey. You had PTSD.
His lie was nothing compared to what Tamlin did to her. So
you had
she needs to
PTSD.
calm down.
Right.
You were no longer human.
Right.
You had all these powers.
You were engaged.
There's other things to deal with first.
Respectful of your time. Breaking off an engagement is hard.
He was trying to get you to eat food again, not throw up everything.
Normal things.
Survive.
So I love how she's just here, eat this, and gets mad and leaves him. Leaves him all fucking injured. Yeah.
You'll be fine.
She's like, okay, here you go. Let's winnow out of here. And then drops him somewhere. And she pieces out to not even her own freaking cottage. They're their vacation getaway, Moore and Cassian, Azriel and Reese's getaway. And she's like, you know what? While I'm here, painting all the walls, murals.
It was her therapy, her anger pain.
Who thinks as a guest, you're like, you know what? Everybody loves my painting. My painting is everybody's style.
I know, it's a bit conceited.
Art is very subjective.
And to paint all the walls.
All the walls. And you know what?
Wallpaper is a bit much.
You know what? But you know what cracks me up? It's everybody's eyeball.
Yeah, you're right.
What is that? Why?
When I wake up in the morning, I just want to see giant eyeballs on the wall staring at me.
Not know how to paint people that she loved. Just she needed their whole face.
She's like, fuck these people. I'm painting their eyeballs. I'm going to freak them out anytime they walk in this living room.
Have you seen fan art of it?
I've seen on Bookstagram people making jokes Feyre's actually a really shitty artist, but Reese loves her so much that he told everybody to shut up about it. Just pretend she's really good.
If you say anything about her painting, it's stick figures.
Can you imagine if she was terrible?
I kind of wish that was true.
I know. That would be the ultimate.
It'd be so funny.
He just loves her that much. He's jaded
baby,
to her.
I love your stick figures so much.
It's so good.
I love that.
My funny. Okay. Who's going to talk about chapter 54? Come on. Who's going to do it?
Go ahead, Dina.
Okay.
You have your book. I don't have
I have it flagged? Yes.
So,
of course I do.
We did, as we were talking about this episode before we were recording it, we did dub chapter 54 Soup and Sex.
Soup and Sex.
So basically, chapter 54 is the background on everything that happened before and after Amarantha and like his involvement and all that. Okay, cool, kind of boring. I don't care. What I care about is the part where he starts talking about her and telling us that he's had these dreams, telling Feyre that he began having these dreams about this beautiful human hand holding a brush and painting flowers on a table. At this point, this is where I start getting the chills.
Right.
Totally.
He was just like, I dreamed.
What is going on?
While he's prisoner.
Like 2 years prior to meeting her.
While he's prisoner under the mountain with Amarantha, he's having dreams of her.
And don't you feel like, okay, so we didn't really talk about this before, but we found out in this book earlier that when they're walking through Valaris, she hears the music and it reminds her of the one that she heard under the mountain in her cell. And we find out that it was actually him that sent her that music. Oh my God. So many chills. I wanted to cry. Like,
he barely knew her at that point.
Yeah.
And he did it so that it would prevent her from breaking. And she realized that. So when he's talking about her coming to him in these dreams, it kind of reminded me of that point in the opposite way, right? Like he's having these dreams about her and it's preventing him from breaking while he's with Amarantha.
That's a really good point. I never thought about it that way. Wow.
Yeah. He says they were reminded that there's some peace out there in the world, some light.
Wow.
Like it helped him through that time too. Like how
he needed
freaking
that
beautiful
to survive.
is that?
Yeah. No, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Like the gods were sending him this vision of like his mate that he never met yet, being out there.
I mean, that would push me through to like persevere through all that.
And then like
like there's something more there.
Yeah.
Right.
And then he ended up getting these visions of her being around Faye, and he realizes that she's there in Prithian.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then we find out that there you are, I've been looking for you, and what it means.
The chills.
Chills upon chills.
And then he tells the fairies that were there, thank you for finding her for me. Oh my God.
Because he went there under a ruse to like, but really it was to find her because he had a feeling she was going to be there from his dreams. And he like it's so gross, but he could scent her.
I know.
Yeah.
Like
they're beautiful.
They're bonded.
They're bonded.
He could just sense her, feel her, smell her.
I know. And then we think back upon like her first meeting, and she like was like, "Oh, that's the most beautiful male I've ever seen in my life."
Right.
And like there he is trying to find her, and he ends up saving her from being probably raped and killed and all that stuff. And like, I mean, he's just. And then but the beautiful thing is he lets her go with Lucian because he knew if Amarantha found out, she would kill Feyre and use her against Rhys. I mean, it'd be like freaking beautiful, beautiful scene. Like my favorite of the book.
This is also where he talks about Claire.
Yes.
And how all the time that she was under the mountain, that he took away her pain and told her to scream when she should be screaming so that they wouldn't know that he was doing that for her. Yeah. Like, oh my God, this
with
guy
that mind
is
speak. Yeah.
Right. Like you're a fae and you're helping out a human, but also because of your mate who doesn't know your mates, and like you want to ease her pain when she finds out.
Yeah. It's like, oh my God, this guy, I can't with him.
I know. He's so good.
He's the best. The best.
He is. Mm-hmm.
No, it's so
good. And then
good.
she's like finally like, okay, fine, I forgive you.
Yeah, she learns like that like offering your food mate is like a big deal, and some people make it like a grand party, and like she's just like, well, I'm just gonna open up this can of soup for you and heat it up.
There you go. I bet it tastes.
I mean, what 20-year-old really knows how to cook,
but
right?
I kind of like was mad at her. Like he does this like grand monologue that like lasts like a whole freaking chapter.
Yeah.
And she's like, so you love me? And he's like, sobbing. He's like, well, yeah. And she's like, then eat your soup. Like, like that shows that I'm
soup that I
like
complete this
I
bond.
open with a can opener.
That means that I'm completing this bond. Like, how about you say like you love him, girl?
I know, I was a little sad she didn't really.
No, but then like he's
know.
like shaking and crying and everything, and she does say something like really beautiful that like did definitely hit me. She said, I actually have it in the piece of art.
I was like, do you have it? Because I got it.
I have the exact quote. It's in the piece of art that I actually made for our podcast.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
It says, I am broken and healing, but every piece of my heart belongs to you, which is so sweet. Then he cries and she cries and they start making out. And then bam, chapter 55, paint scene.
Paint sex.
Paint everywhere.
Paint everywhere. Everybody's naked. Everybody's covered in paint. And it's fantastic.
And it lasts a long time.
Yeah, well, yeah, it does. She feels the mating bond. It's boom, it's there. So here's the question. Are we, Dina, it's in Dina's notes here. Are we chapter 54 girls? Are we declaration? Is that the word?
Declaration?
Yeah, there you go. Of love? Or are we 55 down and dirty with the paint scene girls? Can we be both? I would love to be both.
I was going to say, it depends on the mood.
Yes. I think I've reread 54 more than 55.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Definitely.
I'm down for it all.
I've definitely reread 54.
Bless you. Mm-hmm. Bless you.
Sorry. No, I remember like.
He's on the truth.
And
there
actually,
you go.
I didn't have the book for this. I did the audio.
So I had both. So I listened to the audio first, and then I was like, oh my God.
That's what made it so amazing to hear
his
hot, sexy voice saying all these wonderful romantic things.
So then I paused it, went home, got my book out, opened up the chapter and listened and read simultaneously. I was like, oh my God, this is even better.
Yeah.
Because I'm a visual person. So I'm like reading and hearing, yikes, spikes. And then we get into 55 and whoa, mama.
Yeah, that was a good story.
You're like, where's my husband?
Yes. Let's just say
I'm going to need you in 3 minutes.
Yeah. Husband was doing okay. Was doing okay that month that I was reading these books.
He was not unhappy that you were reading a lot.
No. Like, can you maybe put on some bat wings for me, sir? Like,
right? That would have been a good Halloween costume.
Fantastic Halloween costume.
At Spirit Halloween.
Oh, God. All right. So we hop from the good stuff straight to the bad stuff, and we go right to these human queens being real big bitches. There's only 3 of them now. They use the orb, and, they're using Valaris against them. It's just terrible stuff. There's a letter that states that they believe Rhys, right, about Valaris, and that he's, like, a good person. But like
it was one of the queens.
One of the queens, you're right. And she kind of like, right? Doesn't she like kind of sneak it into his hand?
She sneaks it in.
Right. Yeah. And Rhys tells Nesta and Elaine that they can come and stay in Valaris, like, cause like, shit's about to go down. He's like, like everybody wants to kill you guys. Like maybe you should come to Valaris. And what do these bitches do? No, I got a fiance. I hate you, Faye.
I'm not going over there. Mm-hmm. Take care of yourself.
And that's because Nesta leaves it up to Elaine. Like, if Elaine wants to go, we'll go. And then she's like, no. I'm like,
I know. She's such like an Elaine lover.
I know.
But like, you just need to tell her what you're doing and make her do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So back in Valaris, Amren's trying to like interpret this like crazy book, this crazy half of the book. And then what happens because of these damn queens? Valaris is attacked. We got like
terrible
adders, which they're my worst nightmare. Out of all the crazy like demons that come from this world, it's definitely the adders for me. Like their wings, their teeth, the teeth and the wings. No, thank you. So Feyre, this is my favorite Feyre moment. She makes those wolves out of water, and she becomes defender of like the rainbow over the river. Oh my God, so good.
She's bad.
So
great
good.
Scene.
Yeah, when she gets angry and like almost like mama bear form, like don't fuck with my people. Yeah. And I love it's like how she's territorial already. Then she's like going all out with her powers.
So good. So good. So good. That was one of my favorite Feyre moments is her just like being a
defending
badass and just like defending the poor people of Valaris. Like she saw how they lived and they're so peaceful and they've been protected all this time and they're just innocent. And she's like, hell no.
Right.
So yeah, I love that.
And that probably made Rhys love her even more. Like, you're so willing to protect
Well, didn't he
something.
like mind talk to her and he said like, Feyre, Cursebreaker, Defender of the Rainbow. Like, doesn't he like call her that? And so I'm like, he loves her so much.
Yes.
All right, Dina, I'm going to have you go into the rest where it's Amren cracking the code and all that good stuff and the king.
Okay, so Amren figures out the part of the book. Basically, in order to nullify the cauldron's power, Feyre is going to need to touch it and speak the words that they found, some like, I guess, magical words. And then they know that the king's book is in his castle. So let's see, where are we?
I think, yeah, go for it.
What? This seems like it jumped here. That seems like it should have been back then. But anyways, okay. So then Feyre and Rhysand start having a conversation about back when the Weaver, when they found the ring, or when she found the mother's wedding ring, that the mother told him that to give it to the Weaver, and if he were to marry or to mate, then that person would be smart enough to be able, or strong enough to be able to get it back. So Feyre basically says after they nullify the cauldron, she just wants to marry, have the bond declared, and have this big party. And then Riz says, what if we want to go one step beyond that? What were your thoughts at this point? What were you thinking that this could possibly be?
I didn't know what he was talking about. Like, cause my thoughts didn't even go to like High Lady. Cause
right.
Because I didn't think it was possible. Because of what Tamlin said. I was like,
exactly.
Okay.
And I was totally lost at this point. I'm like, I don't know what they could, they obviously have something up their sleeves.
They did.
No pun intended. But I didn't know where they were going with this.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah.
Okay, so then they go to Hybern, right? They infiltrate the castle. They find the cauldron, and she ends up connecting the two pieces of the book together, and she's starting to say the words, and all of a sudden, Jurian shows up.
Dun, dun, dun.
That, like, literally blew my mind.
I was so shocked and pissed.
When Jurian showed up, I was blown away. I was like, forgot about him.
I know, right?
Yeah. I'm like, oh, yeah,
like,
that's
wait a
right.
second.
He was supposed to, like, try to bring him back. But now we got Jurian here. Like, great. Another guy.
Oh, God.
So then, smartly, Riz takes the book and he hides it in his clothes. And they can't win him out because the king has used the spell book again to get rid of their powers, just like as Amarantha had done at one point. I'm like,
I just know what's happening next, and my heart's hurting all over again.
I seriously was shitting my pants. Honestly, I was like, because this is the last 50 pages, and you're just like, oh my god,
oh yeah,
oh my god,
you're
oh my
reading,
god, oh my god,
and yeah, you can't stop, because this is where all the action happens.
She loves her emotional turmoil.
Jurian fires an arrow right through Azriel's chest. Oh my god! And
Tears.
Tamlin and Lucian, show up.
It's like
what
the way
hell?
I envisioned it. It was just like them walking through the door and be like, "Fuck you."
I know.
How dare you mess with me?
It was like Jurian, slap in the face. Tamlin and Lucian, slap in the face.
Yeah, it was
Double
one
slap.
hit after the other.
This is where Tamlin became tampon.
Yes.
This is where he was a tampon.
I was like, I loathe you. Before I felt a little bit bad. Now you're the worst person ever.
I was like, this is the point where I never thought I would ever give him a redemption story.
Yeah. Because what did he do? What did he do? He kidnaps Nesta and Elaine from their homes because Hybern wants them to use as experiments to see if the cauldron can make them into Fae. And Hybern's like, if you do this for me, I'll help get your Feyre back from Rhys. I'll help break whatever bond that Rhys has over her, and I'll get her back for you.
Why did he think this would work? Like, even though she hated, like her sisters talked about her home life was so terrible, why did he think kidnapping her family would make her willingly want to be with him?
It's a great point.
Like,
you know what I love?
No.
I love somebody who kidnaps my sisters against their will.
Yeah.
That was really what turns me on.
Right? And like, you can't be an ignorant asshole and be like, oh, I didn't know what he was going to do to them.
Even, but like, yeah, like
if
Lucien.
You didn't know the extent, but you still know wasn't good.
Because when Hybern goes to put them into the cauldron to see if like they'll turn fake, like anything could have happened. They could have like
anything.
They could have like died. Lucian's like, wait. I didn't know this was what was going to happen, but clearly Tamlin knew and just didn't tell Lucien.
Yeah, no. Like Lucien was shocked. I think Lucien felt betrayed.
Yeah,
he was really betrayed by Tamlin.
For sure. And that's when like this was the part that I was like, ooh, Nesta, I might like you, but then of course,
what with her finger?
With the finger, where she was like, "Fuck you."
And it wasn't even her middle finger.
She was just like, "You're going down when I get out of this fucking cauldron and I get my bearings together." And then she goes under. So then that was like, ooh, might like her, but then of course she has to fuck things up later.
Did you think at that point when they took her out and they said she was clawing, did you know how powerful it was going to end up being where they said she took something?
Well, I think like this whole book, and maybe even the book before, maybe not, they like always alluded to like Nesta having like some sort of like unearthly interesting like essence. They might not have said power, but like there was always something else to Nesta that didn't always quite seem normal, something different. So I think when she emerged from the cauldron, they like described it as something that like was like, like oops, we've created something,
right? Because
she maybe had some sort of powers before,
something in her that when she went into the cauldron was sparked.
I think Mama Archeron was part witch.
I mean, and she's like, she's super badass and grumpy. So she probably, like they said, she was clawing and like taking, like.
Yeah, she took,
she was fighting back.
She took pieces of the cauldron with her.
Because Elaine was just a simpering little.
She fought her way.
Oh my God. So I just want to talk about Lucien saying, like, because when you're traumatized and drowned and created from human to fae, and you come out, you want some dude that you've never met when you're already engaged to look at you and be like, you're my mate. Could you imagine being like, dude, I'm trying to process like 10 other things first.
I was engaged to a human. Now what's happened?
So there is a really crazy theory out there that
her fiance?
That Lucien actually sensed when Elaine came out of the cauldron that Tamlin and Elaine were mates, but knew that due to the trauma that Tamlin inflicted on Elaine and the Archeron sisters, that they wouldn't want that, and he was trying to protect her from that. So he quickly said they were mates before anybody can notice.
For this book, but not for the next book.
He kept up the ruse because Tamlin is still like an asshole and everybody hates him.
I don't like that theory.
That's a theory.
Dina, what do you think?
not saying it's real. Yeah. You hate it?
I know. I don't know how much I believe it. Like,
listen, we haven't had a book from her in so long about this that people are just throwing out crazy theories left and right.
Well, unfortunately, Elaine may be a key point in the next book, unfortunately.
I think also the connection was the spring court thing. Like, because of her flowers and all this gardening stuff, like, they want it to be connected to Tamlin somehow.
Right, because Lucian's not technically from the spring court.
Dina, didn't you find a theory that has that has Tamlin having an affair with Feyre's mom?
Yes.
And Elaine is the product of that affair?
I think I like that better than Lucien claiming it to protect Tamlin.
Yeah,
right?
I would go with that.
Because that explains the whole Elaine being obsessed with like flowers and roses and that, the ever blooming flowers of the spring court, which Tamlin is the lord over.
Right.
Like there's that connection that makes sense.
But Tamlin would know.
That would,
and
you never know.
Not to know that she's.
Well, remember when Tamlin first brought Feyre back to the spring court and he said, "Didn't your mother ever tell you about us?"
Yeah.
And it's almost
you think
like
he means like us, my affair.
like me and your mom.
Like us.
Banged it out one night.
When your dad was a
I
real
might have
asshole.
done things she didn't want, but
Your dad was on one of those merchant ships one night. Snuck in.
So funny. So funny.
All
Okay,
right, well, this is where it gets shitty.
So this is the part where I was in my car sobbing like an idiot because Feyre pretends to break free of whatever powers that Rhys has over her. She's like pretending that Rhys is like mind controlling her into loving him. And she's, she pretends, and Rhys is smart enough to like play along. And he's like, "Oh, how did you finally figure it out?" And she begs Tamlin to let, everybody go home because at this point, Azriel's bleeding, Cassian's bleeding, Nesta's freaking out that Cassian's bleeding. I think both of their wings are like shredded, right?
Yeah, they're shredded.
Maybe Cassian's wings
when
are
she sees him in the
Cassian's
next
wings are
book.
shredded.
Cassian's wings are shredded. Azriel's like insides are now outside. Like, so she begs Tamlin to let everybody go and she's like, "Take me home. Just make sure everybody's free." Tamlin's like talking to the King of Hybern. He's like, "Can we do this?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to break the bond between Rhysand and Feyre." And when they say break the bond, I was like, no. She's screaming in pain. The tattoo on her arm goes away. Rhys is screaming. I'm like, oh my God. Mor takes her sisters away.
I was flipping out. I'm getting chills
Sobbing.
thinking about it. I was like, it's gone forever. It's gone forever. Oh my God. I couldn't handle it.
I couldn't handle it either. And like everybody winnows out. Feyre's taken to the spring court with Tamlin and Lucien. And that's when, quick scene to everybody back at the night court. Amren's getting like the down low on everything that just went down because she wasn't there. And Rhys says, they're like, "We need to get Feyre back. We need to get Feyre back." And Rhys is like, "Listen, she's actually my mate and my spy and the High Lady of the night court." And they're like, "High Lady? High Lady, not Queen Consort?" And he's like, "No." So if they took off the other glove, they would have seen that she has the tattoo there because we snuck out last night and got a high priestess to marry us, which SJM, why do you deprive us of wedding scenes? Why do you do this to us? I would love to have a Rhys and Feyre wedding scene.
Yeah.
But okay. But anyway, she's now High Lady, mic drop. He's amazing because now
he could see it coming. He didn't know specifically, but he knew it wasn't going to be good, and he protected her.
Mm-hmm. He was like,
as usual,
the best way he could.
He was like, she's my equal in every way, which is something that Tamlin.
Most men in Prythian don't.
Yes, but Tamlin didn't. No, none of the men. But Tamlin specifically was like, "There's no high ladies. Right. There's no such thing." Blah 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 blah. Rhys was like, "No, fuck that. She's like equal
I'll make
to
you whatever
me,
you want to be,
right?" Yeah. She didn't even ask for it. He was just like, "Boom, you're my high lady," and he's like. Now, like, Feyre made the sacrifice to go in there to get information, and now the enemy's in her court, like in their court, literally. And it's just like a total mic drop twist, and I loved it so much. It was so good.
It was good.
It was so good. It was so good. Round of applause for SJM on that one.
Yes. Beautiful.
And then it made us pick
but
up
then
the
it was
next
like,
book.
okay, now I need the next book.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God,
Thankfully,
right? There was no
we
breaks.
weren't reading this as she was putting them out.
Yes.
Can you imagine if we had to wait?
I know. I couldn't imagine having to wait.
No, because how
Thank
much are
God
we dying
Amazon
right now?
delivers next day.
Right. Yeah, I know, right? Oh my gosh. And I feel like we have like this whole thing of like, let's deep dive, but I feel like we've done that already. We
really like this book so much.
Yeah, we kind of touched on it as we were
Yeah,
going through
we
too.
really
We
did.
like it so much that we really already talked about it.
So I do want to bring up our listener engagement because we try, this is only our second time, but we try to do posts that reach out to our followers on Instagram, and we did make a post that said Rhysand's most romantic moments. So one was sending music to Feyre when she was in the cell at Under the Mountain. The next one was The Love Confession at the Cottage, aka Chapter 54. The next one was Chapter 55, The Paint Scene. And the other one was Starfall. So, it's relatively close. Like, we have 35% saying The Love Confession. We have 24% saying Paint Scene, 29% saying Starfall, and then 12% saying sending music to her under the mountain.
I mean, he's just so romantic. People can't choose.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I know, right?
I mean, 35% overall was like The Love Confession at the Cottage, which was my personal choice. What was your choice? And what, Dina, what did you choose? You chose the music.
I'm the 12% there. I chose the music. Aww. I thought that was so I don't know.
Well, you love music.
Crying.
You're like,
well, but I think it's that he took to defend Dina. I think he saw someone he loved who was suffering so much. And he was like, how can I help? It wasn't just like a confession. It was romantic. In desperate
and not direct at she didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It wasn't
right.
Hey,
he didn't need any
recognition
for it.
Yeah,
he just did it. Love that.
Yeah.
Danielle, what did we give this book rating?
5 beautiful goblets. Because it was so beautiful.
The whole bottle of wine.
The whole bottle of wine. That whole bitch in that cup.
So we do goblets instead of stars, like Goodreads does. So we do 5 goblets because that's what this book deserved.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wonderful goblets.
And all 3 of us agreed because it was amazing.
So many emotions.
So good. So good. And next episode, we will be doing Court of Wings and Ruin. So make sure you follow us everywhere you listen to podcasts, rate and review. It actually really, really helps. Also follow us on Instagram at Sips with the Suriel. So Suriel. You could also click on our link tree in our bio, and it has all of our Goodreads if you care at all what we've read and you want to read what we read. We'll be putting up on our episodes. We'll be putting our episodes up on YouTube as well. So if you'd like to see our faces as well as listening to us,
you don't have to.
You could. So if you'd like to do that, go to YouTube and subscribe and like. It's the same name, Sips with the Suriel. But make sure you also follow Dina at Creative Little Pill on Instagram. If you have a podcast of your own, you need podcast art, or if you just are really interested in beautiful digital art, she has all your needs there. And that's basically it, guys.
Keep reading to whatever end.
We'll get that eventually.
That'll feel more natural eventually, guys. All right. Thank you so much for listening, everybody.
This was a good one.
This was very good. All right. So if you want to listen to next week, read Courts of Wings and Ruin so we don't spoil anything. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.